I want to thank everybody for coming out and thank the media for being here present. Today is a long time in the making, a long time in the making. And I think I stand here with this distinguished group of gentlemen because we stand on the backs and the shoulders of some giants who've already paved the way for us to make it to this day. Today we stand here signing a declaration of dissolution to disband the group, the domestic terrorist group known as the Ku Klux Klan. Edgar Ray Killan was the imperial wizard and still is the imperial wizard of the largest Klan group in Mississippi as he served time. Edgar Ray Killan gave me his powers of attorney, which made me his attorney in fact. Now, a lot of people say that sounds crazy, but it's been vetted out, it's been litigated in court, and it's been proven that he's given me approximately 174 letters of confessions of everybody he's ever killed, caused to be killed, his organizational structure. He named everything. But in the process, he gave me his book rights, movie rights, because he wanted the truth to be out. The truth is not a pretty picture, but it has to be told. In this situation we're here today is because I've negotiated and convinced him. He's 91 this month. As he sits in prison, he realized that the young people and the young generation that's going out now are coming to be part of a domestic terrorist group without realizing the ramifications of what they're doing. So the best thing to do with a group that has so much blood on its hands, so much violence, is to disband it, dissolve it. And with his signature today, with me as his attorney in fact, we will sign away officially the Ku Klux Klans. This document was put together by one of the best civil rights attorneys who worked with the Southern Poverty Law Center back in the days with Morris Dees, and he wrote the Declaration of Dissolution, and it's solid and will hold up under any circumstances. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce a few people. On the declaration is going to be myself as Edgar Ray Killan's attorney in fact. We have Lieutenant Shakir, who's going to sign as a witness to it. He represents the Muslim community. We have Kent Purdy, who represents, he's been a community activist, as one of my racial counterparts, I say. He's a white guy. And let me say this about my mission in life. I want to personally say it publicly on television, as an African American man, thank you to every white person who died. They helped us get to freedom. So I personally want to say thank you in behalf of the African Americans to everybody who contribute to our freedoms for working together. With that being said, I want to introduce Lieutenant Shakir, let him have a chance to say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being able to come out and participate in this very important, special, historic moment. Thank you, James Stern, for allowing me to come out and speak. Right now, we're going through a period that is so troublesome. We have violence that's happening in the streets, and we have no answers. And to get answers, we have to stop racism in its tracks. We have to say no to the warmongers. We have to say no to the groups who would like to perpetuate hatred in the streets. And now is a very special time for us to come together and say no. It doesn't matter what economical structure you're from or whatever, poor, rich, the time is now. Draw a line in the sand and say, no more racism. We're going to take a stance. Either you're going to stop racism or we're going to stop you. The people have spoken. They want to live. They want peace. They want to be able to travel down the streets without hatred. And it starts here, it starts now. I'm not going to be long-winded, but as a Muslim, representing the Muslim community, this is a start. This is a start. But we have so much more to do. I'm not going to take up too much more time. Thank you so much for allowing me to come out and speak about this historic event. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to call Kent Purdy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I too want to say thank you for this opportunity, James, to be a part of this historic moment. My take on everything is that we're in a critical time for people to empower each other, to come together and influence one another to be able to create that change. I work in a lot of spiritual centers, and I work with healing centers, and in that, we practice mindfulness, yoga, we meditate, but it's all about sharing love instead of hate. And growing up, I was an Army brat, and I lived on medical Army bases. My father was a medical doctor, and I never saw the division of race. I didn't know what racism was till I was 12 years old when we moved to Memphis, Tennessee. And Memphis, Tennessee is a lovely place. But in the 70s, I was subjected to what racism meant. And I've always been an advocate to fight against that. And now, with this opportunity, it's time for us to go and everybody to come together and stand up. So I'm appreciative of being here, and I'm looking forward to moving forward in this. Thank you.
With that, I want to introduce Jabu. Jabu is being commissioned. He's a famous artist. He's been commissioned to draw a picture combining both African American and white leaders of the civil rights movement combined on the same picture. Too many times we just see Martin Luther King and Malcolm X on a portrait. But now it's time to show the other people who supported us in this cause by putting them all together on a portrait and showing a universal picture of everybody who supported the civil rights movement. And just want to say to Jabu.
Thank you. It's quite an honor. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm a political activist from South Africa, also a political artist. I fought against injustice and racism in South Africa. So this is a very, very important time to have this moment, historic moment. And I hope and trust that Americans everywhere, human beings across the globe will fight against injustice and racism. And I hope that I'll take the opportunity to illustrate some of the powerful figures who have fought against injustice and racism through my painting. Thank you.
Now what we're here for. The Declaration of Dissolution of the KKK. I'm going to ask Stephen Rubin to come up and read it before we sign it, so everybody can hear what it says. Stephen Rubin.
Just so you know, James and I are collaborating on a nonfiction autobiography of his story, which I'm very honored to be a part of. Declaration of Dissolution of the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Whereas the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan have been active in the state of Mississippi supporting segregation by and through acts of terror, including but not limited to arson, kidnap, mayhem, and murder for over 100 years, and whereas the acts of terrorism perpetuated and sponsored by the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan have not prevented progress towards equality in housing, education, and increased economic and political opportunity for all races, and whereas Edgar Ray Killan is now and has been the Imperial Wizard, Grand Dragon, and leader of the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and whereas pursuant to a duly executed and notarized power of attorney, Edgar Ray Killan has granted to James Stern all powers held by said Edgar Ray Killan as the Imperial Wizard, Grand Dragon of the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and has instructed James Stern as his attorney in fact, pursuant to said power of attorney, to dissolve and disband said White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Now therefore, under the powers vested in James Stern by and under the power of attorney dated September 28, 2011, and the name of Edgar Ray Killan, it is hereby resolved and declared that the organization, entity, and enterprise known as the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan is hereby dissolved and disbanded. It is further resolved and declared that any acts of violence, terrorism, and or intimidation perpetrated in the name of the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan is un-American and in direct contradiction to the principles of equality guaranteed to all citizens under the Constitution of the United States, and as such are deplored, disavowed, and condemned. And it's signed by Edgar Ray Killan, Imperial Wizard, Grand Dragon of the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, by James Stern, attorney in fact. Thank you.
Thank you. Along with this that we just read, I've assimilated to the media copies of these documents. These documents include an actual notarized signed copy of a powers of attorney filed with the courts in the state of Mississippi, 2 letters of the multiple letters Edgar Ray Killan have provided me with, expressing his desires for me to use his powers of attorney to make these changes. Lastly, a letter that was sent to the Attorney General Loretta Lynch asking her to mindfully utilize the RICO Act against anyone who do any hate crimes of any organization against another, and in this case especially the KKK, for they have far too long done crimes that they got away with. But by dissolving this group, anyone who now utilizes their name, their image, their clothing, or anything will be unacceptable. With that, we're going to sign the dissolution. With that being done, gentlemen, here's one copy for you that you signed. One copy for you. It's historic.
Thank you.
Any questions at this point? Other than that, I think we can now safely take 2016 and officially have something to celebrate. We've always celebrated, which is very deservingly, well-earned, our dear related Martin Luther King, who paved the way for so much that's been going on. But I think now we can add to the celebration of celebrating the dissolving and disbanding of one of the biggest hate groups this country's ever had in race relationships, the KKK. Thank you for all those who came out. I appreciate everybody, and any questions I can be around later to ask. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody who came out and participated. Thank you so much.
Thanks CNN for being so generous to share with everybody. I appreciate you.